EVs are definitely the future, but the present is still internal combustion. And so MG have just unveiled this, the Astor. What it is essentially the petrol-powered version of the ZS EV. But it isn't just a motor swap. What you have is a whole host of goodies inside, and of course you have a facelift on the outside. Now before you ask, yes, it's most likely we'll see this on the electric version too. But today it's all about the Astor, so let's take a good close look. So at the front, in terms of what's new, you've got an all-new bumper, headlights and grille. And while the headlight and bumper treatment may be a little subtle, what isn't is the new grille. As you can see, it's got this really cool looking radial pattern. MG call it the Celestial grille, and it does look quite nice and is very eye-catching. Now over at the side here, things are pretty much the same, though you do have new alloy wheels. The 17-inch rims have a completely new style and they look quite nice. They also show off the red calipers on both the front and rear disc brakes quite nicely. Now in case you're wondering why do manufacturers do this, keep the sides the same with facelifts, honestly it's a lot more cost effective and easier to change the plastic bits like the headlight, bumper and grille. Sheet metal is trickier and a lot more costly. Now at the rear you do have new tail lights. The design is new, it looks quite nice and attractive. I particularly like these segmented little displays inside. And the bumper has a new treatment at the diffuser end with two fake exhaust outlets too. There's also a lot of badging on the rear with the MG logo, ZS, Astor and ADAS lettering, which in fact is one of the highlights of this car. Boot space is quite large and MG is not disclosing the capacity, but it appears large enough for typical use. Plus you also have a 60-40 split seat to increase luggage capacity. Body dimensions have been released and the Astor is slightly longer, taller and wider than the Seltos and Creta SUVs, who it will go up against when it finally is launched. So that's all about the outsides. Now let's hop inside, because inside there is what MG are talking about is the big highlight. Now there are two parts to this. One is the ADAS level 2 system and an artificial intelligence robot. Why don't we go inside and say hello? Hello Astor.
I'm here.
Okay, now that's quite cool or creepy depending on whether you like these things, but that robot just turned and looked at me. Hello Astor.
Yes.
Can you open the sunroof? Okay, so as you can see, it has a few voice commands on board that let you essentially control a few car functions like the sunroof, the temperature and bits like that. But it also has an onboard SIM via which you can check things on the internet. In fact, it's powered by Wikipedia, so you can ask it pretty much anything. But to fully exploit the system, we think it would be better off with Alexa or Google on board. The other change is the new touchscreen, which is larger at 10.1 inches. It's not the smoothest to use, but it's loaded with quite a few local apps and has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity. Speaking of which, the Astor also has the full connected car experience, and it takes it a step further with a digital key that you can install on your phone, so you can fully operate and use your car without the actual key. MG has also given the upholstery a complete makeover, and it does look really rich and premium. There are 3 color combinations and the deep red one we have really looks nice. Features like a 6-way power driver seat, a PM 2.5 filter, a 360-degree camera are also on offer. As is safety kit like 6 airbags, ABS and ESP along with the level 2 ADAS setup. The ADAS system is very comprehensive with features like lane keeping aid, lane departure warning, lane change assist, blind spot and rear cross traffic alert, adaptive cruise control and auto emergency braking. Now another change inside is right ahead of you. The twin dials that you had on the electric version are gone, and what you have is an all digital display which gives you a whole lot of information. And I must say, in terms of treatment, it's quite nice. We've seen a lot of digital instrumentation these days, which sometimes can be quite overwhelming. This one isn't as bad. It does look quite nice. It's neatly laid out and the information is quite easy to pick up and read. Now, in terms of the seats, they are quite broad. In fact, really quite broad for my thinner frame. So taller, bigger people would feel quite comfortable as well too. The steering wheel too looks really nice. It's got this little perforated leather wrapping here and a flattish bottom down here. The rear is pretty much the same like the ZS EV, but let's hop in and take a look. Now at the rear, there's quite a lot of space. As you can see, for me, this seat was adjusted to my driving position. I'm about 5'8" and I have ample knee room. There's a nice place to stretch out here. Headroom too is quite generous. And in terms of features, what I'm sure owners would really love is this really large panoramic sunroof. The seating position is also very comfortable, and from what I recall, it does appear more natural compared to the slightly knees up posture in the ZS EV, which was to make space for the batteries below. Other features are rear AC vents, twin USBs, as well as a flip down armrest with some integrated cup holders. And finishing off, we come to the heart of the matter, the engines. Like the Kicks, Kushaq and Taigun, the Astor will only be petrol driven. But like the others, the Astor will also have a choice of two engines. An entry 1498cc naturally aspirated engine putting out 110 horsepower and a 1349cc turbocharged unit that puts out 140. What we have here is the turbo, and the turbo is only offered with a 6-speed automatic. On the 1.5, you do have the choice of a manual and an automatic too. So that's the first look at the MG Astor. Pricing is not yet announced, but MG says it will be competitive when compared to its rivals like the Kushaq and Creta. We'll bring you the full review in the days to come, but for now, tell us what you think of the new MG Astor in the comments below. And if you haven't already, do like the video and subscribe to the Autocar India channel. Hello Astor.
Hi, how can I help?
Who is India's leading automobile magazine?
The British origin automobile magazine in India, Autocar is one of the most respected auto magazines, not only in India but across the globe. Began publishing.
She is really intelligent.